When the full picture is considered, Iran's participation in the 2026 World Cup stands as one of the tournament's most remarkable stories. A team based outside the country hosting its matches. Players navigating repeated international travel during the competition. Support staff facing administrative complications. Questions surrounding fan attendance. Debates over key squad selections. Athletes attempting to compete despite disrupted preparations. Yet despite every obstacle, Iran earned its place on football's biggest stage through qualification and sporting merit. Whatever opinions exist regarding politics and administration, the players themselves remained committed to the same dream shared by every World Cup participant, representing their nation with pride. Whether they advanced beyond the group stage or exited early, their campaign highlighted the extraordinary demands athletes sometimes face beyond the spotlight. Football is often described as more than a game. In Iran's case, that phrase carried unusual weight. Every appearance on the field reflected sacrifice, preparation, and determination that many spectators would never fully see. History may remember the scores and statistics, but many will also remember a team that refused to let uncertainty define them. And perhaps that is why, whenever Iran stepped onto the pitch, millions looked beyond the result and saw something greater. The enduring human desire to persevere and continue chasing a dream against all odds. On June 13th, during one of the most talked-about World Cup group stage matches, Brazil faced Morocco in New Jersey. The match delivered excitement, and Vinícius Jr. even found the net. Yet the biggest talking point wasn't his goal. It was a brief moment inside the stadium tunnel at halftime. As part of the tournament's media requirements, selected players are expected to participate in short halftime interviews for broadcasters. A reporter approached Vinícius for one of these interviews, but the Brazilian forward declined. The reporter reminded him that refusing could lead to a fine. Vinícius responded calmly with 4 simple words, "We will pay it." Then he walked away. Those few seconds quickly spread across football media and social platforms. For some fans, it looked like a player protecting his focus during an intense match. Others argued that media obligations are part of modern football and should be respected. The incident raised an important question. Should players, still mentally and physically engaged in a high-pressure match, be required to stop and provide entertainment content? Or should halftime remain dedicated solely to recovery, tactical discussions, and preparation for the second half? Vinícius didn't deliver a speech or launch a campaign against the system. He simply made a choice and accepted the possible consequences. But his response sparked a much wider debate about where the balance should exist between football as a sport and football as a global entertainment business. The discussion surrounding Vinícius Jr. didn't emerge in isolation. It arrived after several months in which the Brazilian star had already been at the center of major conversations about player treatment and conduct in football. Earlier in the year, during a high-profile European match, Vinícius reported receiving abusive comments from an opponent. The alleged exchange happened while the opposing player covered his mouth, making it difficult for officials and cameras to verify exactly what had been said. The controversy led to widespread debate about accountability and player protection. Football authorities responded by strengthening guidance regarding players deliberately covering their mouths during heated confrontations. The aim was to discourage behavior that could prevent investigations into inappropriate language on the pitch. At the same time, Vinícius also experienced frustrations during official media sessions. Like many international footballers, he felt more comfortable answering questions in languages he uses regularly. However, interpretation resources during some press conferences were limited, creating communication challenges for players and journalists alike. None of these incidents alone represented a major scandal, but together they highlighted an increasingly complicated relationship between footballers, regulations, and media expectations. Players are not only athletes competing at the highest level, they're also expected to fulfill commercial and broadcasting responsibilities. For many observers, the tunnel moment in New Jersey reflected that growing pressure. It wasn't just about refusing an interview. It symbolized a player deciding that, At least for one night, his focus on the game mattered more than satisfying the demands of the broadcast schedule. Another debate emerging from this World Cup involved mandatory hydration breaks. FIFA introduced scheduled pauses during matches, citing concerns about extreme temperatures and player welfare in host cities experiencing intense summer heat. Protecting athletes from heat-related risks is a legitimate priority. Modern football demands extraordinary physical effort, and medical experts have repeatedly warned about the dangers of competing in high temperatures. However, critics noticed another consequence of these stoppages. Each break also created guaranteed opportunities for television broadcasters to insert additional advertisements. As a result, some supporters questioned whether commercial considerations were benefiting alongside player welfare initiatives. The discussion intensified after one emotional World Cup moment. Following a significant goal celebration, broadcasters quickly shifted into advertising during a scheduled stoppage. Fans who wanted to remain immersed in the atmosphere suddenly found themselves watching commercials instead. Was this evidence of a deliberate plan? Not necessarily. The breaks followed predetermined guidelines. Yet the incident revealed how difficult it can be to separate sporting decisions from commercial realities. Football has evolved into one of the world's largest entertainment industries. Broadcasting deals generate enormous revenue, funding tournaments and expanding the sport's reach. At the same time, supporters increasingly worry that the viewing experience and even the rhythm of matches are being influenced by commercial priorities. The hydration debate therefore became about more than advertisements. It reflected concerns about preserving the emotional authenticity of football while navigating the financial demands of a global spectacle.